Hello there, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be getting ready together, and this is the look that I was wearing in my Darlings and Duds of December and January. So I thought I would take you along, do a full face, and also update you on some craziness that's been going on in our neck of the woods here. So if you're new here, special welcome. I hope you'll hit that subscribe button, and now let's get started. First off, I'm going to apply the Stila Perfect and Project eyeshadow primer, and I do find this to be quite good. It does provide, as you can see, a little bit of brightening on the lids. Even though it starts off looking pretty white, there is some translucence to it, but it does a good job of keeping the eyeshadow in place through the day. And because I knew I was going to be filming that video, I wanted to use mostly products that I was going to be talking about in that video. So if you want more information about these products, check out that video. I'll link it up here. So the palette that I'm primarily going to be using today is from ColourPop. It's the That's Taupe palette, and this was quite popular when it first came out. It took a few rounds before I was able to get my hands on it. It's very cool toned, but it has just this cool, unique shade right here that has a little bit of olive, and then there's this really beautiful kind of taupe shade right in the center, bright. This is one of the Super Shock Shadow formulations. So a really nice, unique kind of combination of colors. Now, there's nothing bright enough for my brow bone highlights shade, so I'm going to go into the Going Coconuts palette from ColourPop and use this shade right here, which is called Shredded. I'm going to use the Sigma E50 and just put that under the brow. I think that's all I'm going to use from this palette. I'm going to try to stay primarily in here. So I'm going to try something different today. I'm going to do a little combination of these two. So it is Pebble Beach, which I have owned that one in a single before, and Python. Ugh, I don't like pythons, but the snake print on here is actually quite cool, but yeah. I don't like snakes, so. All right, so I'm just putting that all through the crease with an M504. And ooh, I really like the combination of those two shades. Okay, I'm gonna take the MAC 239 brush, and I'm gonna go in with this deepest shade called Bedrock. And I am going to kind of look ahead and just give myself a little bit of a lift here in the outer corner. And then with what's left, I'm going to just kind of brush it towards the lash line. And again, I really don't have any specific look in mind, so we're just gonna create this look together. These shadows are, as most ColourPop shadows are, very pigmented. I do love ColourPop eyeshadows. The thing you want to be careful of is you always want to read the ingredients on shadows, and this is why you haven't seen me purchase many ColourPop palettes in a while, is because they are doing what a lot of eyeshadow companies are doing. They're creating pressed pigments which contain ingredients that are not intended for use in the immediate eye area. I know, if you're wondering about that too, I don't get it, but it is the going trend, and typically it is shadows that are more red based, orange based, pink based, but not always. So just be careful of that. Always read the ingredients list. ColourPop does a good job on their website of telling you if there are any shades included that are pressed pigments. That's what you want to watch out for. But everything in here, we're good to go. Okay, so now that I've got that down, I'm going to continue with that same brush, and I'm going to go in with Constrictor. Ooh, another thing I don't like to think about, but this is a really, really pretty shade. I've only used this, I think, as an eyeliner, like on my lower lash line, just as an accent, but wow, this is really pretty. So it doesn't, I mean, there's a hint of an olive undertone, but it doesn't come off as green. Has a lot of gray in there. A little bit of what looks like gold and silver shimmer, really pretty. And then I'm going to go in with my finger. The Super Shock shadows, if you've never worked with them, they always work better with your finger. So I'm going to go in with, what's it called? I think it's Slated. I don't know. I'm just going to press this on kind of this inner part of the eye. And this one is a little more chunky here. So it's been a while since I've used this palette, so it's always, can never remember how much pigment comes off there. There we go. Took a little bit of building and layering. I'm going to go ahead and pull that towards the center part of the lid, overlapping that constrictor shade. And I'm going to go back with my finger, a little bit more of that constrictor shade, and just tap that on. Just kind of blend those two shades together. I'll go back with my blending brush. Just make sure this edge here is well blended. And I have a pretty deep corner here, so sometimes I have to go back and just press that darker shadow in there so that there's no holes in my shadow look here. On the lower lash line, I'm using the NYX Epic Wear what is this called? All Time Olive Liner Stick. This is really nice. I've shown this once before, and it's very similar to the Urban Decay pencil in Stash. It's almost a mix between Stash and Mildew. So if you know those Urban Decay pencils, that is what I think this color reminds me of. All right, and then on the upper lash line, I'm going to use the Pixie Endless Silky Eye Pen in Black Noir. And I am really going to just try and keep this right into the roots of the lashes, starting about 2/3 of the way across. And the reason why I do this is because I don't really want a rounded eye look. I want more of a kind of cat eye lifted look. So since my eyes tend to go down, I like to pull the liner out and just give myself a little more of the illusion of a lifted eye here. So I'm just going to just quickly put this there. These are super, super soft, and not really winging it out, just going to leave it as more of a wedge shape there, I think. And then just kind of fade it towards the inner corner there a little bit. I'm going to take just a E60 brush from Sigma and a little bit of MAC Fix Plus and just tap that over kind of the center portion of the lid. I always find this helps just kind of create a smoother finish, and it's going to tap down kind of any of the loose glitter might be floating away there. There we go. Just to finish up the lower lash line, I'm going to use the M432 from Morphe, and I'll just tap a little bit of this constrictor shade here. Then I'll add a little bit of the deepest shade, which is Bedrock, just right here in the outer corner. All right, let's get these under eyes cleaned up, and then we'll go in with the rest of the face. All right, for foundation, I'm using this newer one. It's new to me, the Wonder Beauty Nude Illusion Foundation. And I used this in a recent video. If you haven't seen that, it's kind of a very soft glam look. And I'm going to use it today without any primer. My skin is already quite dewy, so I'm just going to add even more, but it is a really pretty foundation. So as I'm blending this in, Our life has been quite crazy here. I've had a number of you asking for an update on my online makeup classes. I kind of pushed pause on that like right before Christmas in December because of all the holiday busyness and just a lot going on. I am really close to finishing the first course, which is the essentials. I think I have the bridal makeup assignments to do and then maybe one or two other kind of final assignments, but it has gone well. I do have a couple of other ladies that have said they are willing to be models for me. It won't necessarily be for the academy, but just for help for you all. But that has all been kind of put on pause, even my models, getting them in here, because my husband and I have bought another house and we are getting ready to sell this house and we're going to be moving. So our life has been I've been so stressed out, not sleeping. So therefore the dark circles have been so dark. And therefore we need to correct those here. I'm going to use the Clinique Even Better All Over Concealer. Now this shade is way too dark, but sometimes this method will work. So this is the shade WN76, and I got this free with something this summer, and it was even too dark then, but from what little I had played with it, I do think this is a really good concealer, and I would like to get a lighter shade so I can try it on its own. But what I'm going to do is use this as kind of a skin tone corrector. So it's darker than my purple circles. So it's going to cover up kind of the purpley blue we've got going on here from lack of sleep. And then I'm going to apply the Dose of Colors Meet Your Hue Concealer in 10 Light. So, if any of you have recently bought a house, I know different states are a little bit easier, but still just the whole home buying process is just stressful. And we bought this house that we're living in here almost 17 years ago. So it's kind of like having children. I think you forget what the birthing process is like. That's what I've been told, until you go through it again and you're like, oh yeah, this is why we don't like to make a regular habit of buying homes. So there was just a lot. There are so many ups and downs, and between the loan, between the inspections, between, contract issues, all of that. But the good news is the day that I am filming this, everything is going through and we should be getting our keys today. Hallelujah. So, however, now the real work, literal work begins, because we are going to be doing some updates on the house or having some things done. So if my videos get a little bit sporadic, or my commenting or replies back to you get a little sporadic, I apologize, but that is what's going on. So it's nothing bad. Praise the Lord for that, but it is just a lot going on. So again, we're going to be getting this house we're living in ready to be sold as well. So so much involved, but I'm going to do my best to continue to bring you content. All right, so let's get back to the face now. I am using this Thrive Cosmetics. What do they even call this? This is their, I don't remember what it's called. It's their cheek, lip, and all and body color. I don't know why you would want to put this on your body, but these are not meant for the eyes, but they are meant for cheeks and lips. Now this shade, Olivia, is a new shade, and I've kind of been going back and forth on it. At first I thought this was way too pastel-y. This one does have a little bit of glow, but I've mixed it with the other shade that I have, and I think it's really pretty. So let's just try that combination today using the Luxe 522 tapered highlighter brush. I just find this is the easiest way to apply it. These do have a brush on the other end like the Nude Sticks ones do, but you know, I would say the formulation on these is maybe is closer to the Nude Sticks matte sticks, not the Nudies Bloom, even though this one has some glow to it. But I do really like these. They're very easy, very buildable. So now I'm going to add in a little bit of the shade Dion, I think is the name of that. It's really pretty. Now this one's matte and this one is quite pigmented. So only need just some really light taps in that product. And I'm going to keep this back towards the back part of the cheeks and then just kind of blend it in. I just love that combination of those two colors. I think it's just a really nice and a healthy flush on the cheeks. All right, now let's add some powder. I'm using the Becca Hydro Mist powder today, and I'm going to use the this is the e.l.f. puff, but ColourPop makes one. The e.l.f. one's not available anymore, but I'm going to use this to press this in. So that concealer has set pretty nicely, but I'm going to add a little bit of a lighter powder. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Powder in shade 1. And I'm going to just put a tiny bit of this here on the inner corner, just to kind of set that concealer and add a tiny little bit of some brightness there. For contour today, I'm using the Clay Play Volume 1 palette from Tarte. I have the Volume 2, but recently, I think it was December, picked up Volume 1, and this shade right here is one of my new favorites for contouring. It is the shade Desert, and I got this, I think it was half off, and all of the eyeshadows in this palette are matte. And so I thought it would be a great pairing with several of the other Tarte palettes that I have that are all shimmer. And it is. These are just really good formula. I think initially I didn't buy this because I thought I don't need 3 more contour shades, but at half price, I felt like it was worth it. And it's been a good palette, especially because I love this contour shade. I'm just going to brush that up the cheek a little bit, kind of blend it in with our blushes there. And then I'll use my Lorac contour brush just to put a tiny little bit of nose contour here. I feel like I want just a little more blush, so I'm going to go in with the lighter shade. Did I tell you what this is? Olivia? I think I said that. I'm telling you, when your brain doesn't get sleep, you just don't function quite as well, do ya? For highlighter, I'm pulling out the Benefit Cookie highlighter and using the MAC 140 fan brush. I really do enjoy this highlighter. It is quite pigmented, so a little goes a long way. And then I'm just going to use a little bit of that on my finger. Place this on the inner corner of the eye. And then one final step that I like to do sometimes at the end with the eyes is the brow bone highlight shade. If I feel like, especially when I'm doing a cooler tone look, if I feel like things are just looking a little harsh, I'll go back with something like this shade right here, which is Boa, and use my Sigma E50 and just lightly go over that brow bone highlight shade just to kind of warm it up, tone it down just a little. And I'm going to go in with the shade right next to it, Pebble. And again, really lightly blending over it. I'll show you kind of a side by side. So there we go. See, it dialed it back a little bit from this. So sometimes if your brow bone highlight shade is too light, it can throw off the whole look, especially if you're doing kind of the opposite tone of look as your skin tone. So I'm a warmer skin tone, cooler shadows. Sometimes I have to be careful with that. All right, let's get this look wrapped up. We need some brows. So I'm going to start off with the Milani Precision Brow Pencil. And I'm also going to show you this NYX, what is this one called? Lift and Snatch. And this is the brow tint pen. I have it in the shade Taupe. So I'm going to show you a little bit with this one and how I personally like to use brow pens like this. I typically don't use them through my whole brow. I just find it quicker actually to use two different products. So starting off with this pencil, this is the shade 120 Caramel or Caramel. I grew up always saying caramel, so that's just how I say it. All right, so I'm going to use this on the underside of the brow, and you can see it's just a real quick line. And then I'm going to use this here on the upper part as well to give myself the arch that I am lacking right here. And don't worry, the brow video is coming. Gonna work that in here somehow for you all. Just using that pencil to fill in just quickly. Okay, and then what I like to use a brow pen for is kind of this front portion, or to fill in any just little spots that might still look like they're bald. So I'm going to use this pen, and what I do like is it does have a shaker ball, and it's a super fine tip pen. So I'm going to just give myself a few hair strokes here in the front of the brow. And this does take a little bit of kind of practice and concentration. Definitely don't want to be doing this in a moving vehicle or if you're in a big hurry. I don't find this to be a quick brow look unless you've just got a little fill-in to do in the front of your brow, then it can be quick. So see there right in the front, it looks like I have more hair there. And then right here where I just have this bald spot right here, I like to just take the pen through, and sometimes I just feel like that kind of fills in a little bit easier. And that's pretty much it. And then I'm using the e.l.f. Wow Brow. Now the shade that I currently have is Taupe. This is actually a little light for me. And so I've kind of liked this to kind of tone down my brows if I get a little carried away. But this is actually a really pretty great fibrous brow gel. I have, now that it's February, ordered a new shade in this, and it is on its way to me now. So I will be sure to keep you posted on that. I would love to get to the point where I could use one of these brow gels without having to use pencil first, but so far that hasn't happened. But it is a really good kind of voluminous brow gel. All right, now we need to curl the lashes and apply mascara. I think for my mascara combo, I'm going to use the same that I did in that glamorous easy glam look. It is the Tarte Maneater mascara and the Thrive Cosmetics liquid lash extensions. So I'm just going around the edge of my lips with the MAC Soft Ochre Paint Pot. And then while that sets, I always like to look kind of at the eyes and assess whether I feel like I need a little more warmth through the crease, and I do. But first, I gotta clean up a few of my mascara oops here. Got a little carried away here, a couple spots. So let's get that taken care of. All right, so now I'm gonna go into the Tarte Clay Play palette. Ooh, that's tough to say. I'm gonna start off with just a little bit of this shade. It's called Ember on the 201 brush from BK Beauty. And let's just see what subtle, it's a very subtle change, but I feel like this is what I need to bring this look together. So always feel free to go back and pull in one other shade or two from another palette if you need to, just to kind of help pull the look together. And the goal, many times you want to kind of pull in what you've got going on the cheeks. That can help tie a look together. So I feel like this is a little closer to kind of the bronzy cheeky blush we got going on here. All right, I've been going back and forth on what lip color to do. Let's just try something new. Okay, I'm gonna do the ColourPop lippy pencil in Oh Snap. And this is just kind of it is pink, but neutral pink. And these lippy pencils are very creamy. You can easily fill in your whole lip. But I want to try something since these are meant to be also used on the lips. Let's try a combination of these two shades. So I'm first going to go in, gonna wipe it off just on a tissue. And then I'm going to use Dion first. They do feel nice and soft, but almost have kind of like a near powdery finish, so they don't feel heavy on the lips at all. And now I'm going to top it with a little bit of Olivia. Again, going to wipe off the top of that first, and then just use my finger. That really brightened the look. Okay, let's add a little more of the first shade again here. And now we'll tie it all together with a little bit of gloss. This is the Bobbi Brown Bare Sparkle lip gloss. All right, so here's our finished look. And I did go back and add just a tiny bit more blush here on my cheeks. Sometimes I'll do that after I fix my hair, if I'm looking at everything saying, I think I need a little more color. But overall, I do really like how this look came together. It is a little more dramatic than the soft glam look I did, but similar kind of color scheme on the eyes. This is a good palette. It's not my favorite, but if you're somebody who's kind of wanted to dip your toes into some cooler tone shadows and the Natasha Denona Glam palette is not in your budget, this would be a way to do it. Again, I feel like you're going to need to pull in maybe a few extra shades from another palette to create more looks with it. I wish this shade right here was not quite as chunky and was a smoother shimmer, because I think that would add to the versatility of this palette, but still good quality, good palette. It does lend itself to be a little more glamorous looks, but I think you can dial it back and get some pretty everyday looks with the palette. So, and I did enjoy using these cheek products on the lips. I've not done that before, and I like the combination of the two together. So I hope that you really enjoyed this video. Again, thank you for your patience in advance over the next several weeks, as life is going to be a little crazy here, but I will endeavor to try and upload as much as possible and kind of keep some entertainment going for you all. But I will keep you posted how the move goes, and a certain point, you will see a new background and all of that. So I'll be sure to give you a tour once we get settled in. But thank you again so much for being here, for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.